If I could have everyone's attention at this time, we'd like to welcome Kurt Busch, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Dodge, winner of tonight's Busch Shootout. Notes from the race on Kurt. This is Kurt's first restrictor plate race win and the first Busch Shootout win for Dodge. Kurt, take us through the night tonight.
Well, thank you. Just an unbelievable experience tonight to not really know what the exact game plan was going in, other than the two-car draft was going to be the way to win. And if you could master that, it would benefit you, obviously, to stay hooked up. And I'm going to start calling it teammate of the day. I mean, McMurray was everything for us tonight with his ability to stay tucked up behind us and to keep the two-car chain attached. You know, it's the responsibility of both parties, the lead driver and the guy behind. The lead driver has to navigate through traffic with the other cars that are running high or low. The back guy has to have the confidence in that front guy to guide him through that, because the rear guy can't see anything. And just the way that this race played out, I just had an open mindset going in. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to win. I just felt like I needed to have a teammate. And I found one in Mark Martin in the first half. I have to thank him for keeping us up front. And then with McMurray in the second half, things just fell in our place. I mean, when you feel like it's your night, things just go your way. And we definitely had that. And to start off with Shell Pennzoil in our first race and drive the 22 to victory lane, it's an unbelievable experience with a new group. And then to have it at Daytona. This place is special. I'll cherish this win for a long, long time. And I have McMurray to thank, but I also have my crew and my team at Penske Racing, led by Steve Addington. Everybody that jumps over the wall, everybody that builds these bodies, these motors, the chassis. It's just a great way to start it off. I mean, this was a perfect night. Things fell into our place. It fell into our hands, and Lady Luck was on our side at the end. I mean, my plan was to break away the pack and to stay tucked up as a third-place car behind those first two. But it's amazing how the two cars are just, you have to have two cars to stay hooked up. You cannot do three. You can't do 4 or 5. It's just two cars, and you're going to see that all week long.
We welcome also into the media center crew chief Steve Addington. Steve, if you'll talk a little bit about what the view looked like from the pit box tonight.
Nerve-wracking, but no, I mean we had felt like we couldn't push as good as the other guys, and got hooked up with Mark Martin there at the beginning, and Kurt said, I'm going to go talk to him at the break, and we decided we added some tape to our car because we couldn't push, and we felt like if we were going to be pushed all night long, we needed to add some tape to the front of it, and we did that. And then we got separated with from Mark, and then he got in trouble with him, and the 18 car got together and spun, and we lost him, and I thought we were in trouble because I was looking at what was left, and then when Juan got knocked out and Jamie was out there by himself, and he decided he committed himself to us, and that helped us. And they can say what they want to about the pusher, but guy driving that car, leading that tandem there, has to know what's going on and pay attention, and Kurt did an awesome job tonight.
We'll open it up in the media center. We'll start with Steve.
Steve Richards with PRN. Kurt, from a personal standpoint, can you talk about what it means to you to win at Daytona and also to win a restrictor plate race?
Yeah, this is a special day. I've tried very hard over the last 11 years to break through on a restrictor plate race. To pull into victory lane at Daytona, I knew this was a special moment, and I sucked it all in. You never know when that chance will be again. I've always respected this racetrack. I've always thought of the times that I've finished second here, not just in Cup cars, but in the Truck Series, in IROC, that I can't get mad. I can't get discouraged. I know that one day it'll come back for me. And with a fresh pavement and a new outlook on what this draft is going to be about, basically this is the old school style racing with slingshots with two cars tied up together. That's what it reminded me of. I had flashbacks of slingshots, but you got to have the guy behind you with you. And it's an unbelievable experience to win here at Daytona, to win a restrictor plate race after so many years of trying. You know, it's not a points race, but in my mind, it's a very special race. And heck, we knocked out the All-Star race last year out in Charlotte, and we got the shootout here together. Steve and I are doing pretty good at knocking off big events off our list together.
We just got to keep it going, be more consistent about it.
Bruce.
Bruce Martin with SportsIllustrated.com. I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Ryan, to try to explain to us why 2 cars only seem to work rather than 3. And also, if you could forecast to kind of tell us what we should expect on Thursday and on Sunday.
Well, I think we all have been to a Saturday night short track and seen chain races, or they put a big I-beam through the cars, and they don't put anybody in the middle. There's a guy up front with the motor, and then there's a guy in the back with the brake. This is opposite. This is where the guy in the back has the motor, the guy in the front has the brake. 2 cars just hook up, and it seems like the air comes off the front car and clears that second car perfectly. If you have a third car, the air comes off that front car, lands onto the third car, and that third car can't break through. That's my philosophy on it. But again, you always think of as much as you can in the race to give yourself an advantage. And having an open mind tonight is similar to the approach that I had when I ran for the Chase back in 2004. Nobody knew what to expect. Nobody knew how to win it. And I feel like just having an open mind and not getting frustrated with anything kept me in this. And I have Jamie McMurray to thank for everything tonight. And having a guy that's won here at Daytona is also a key ingredient because he knows how to get it done.
So how about Thursday and Sunday?
Thursday, Sunday, you're going to see 2-car drafts just like this. If there's 40 cars out there, you're going to have 20 2-car packs.
Lewis, Frank Reuters. Kurt, you helped your former teammate Ryan Newman win the 500. Did tracks owe you anything? Is there a missing win as you helped Ryan a couple of years ago?
Well, I always think that Ryan will know that I helped him, and he'll jump in behind me if things are getting busy out there. You have to have as many alliances as you can. And to not win at this track ever before until tonight, I still kept feeling like maybe I'll find my day here. And tonight's my night. I'm going to absorb it, take it all in, and it's fun doing it with a new group like Shell Pennzoil. It would have been cooler to win with the Miller Lite car in the Busch Shootout, but hey, we're with a great group with Shell, with Pennzoil, with Dodge, and maybe it was just a little bit of a lady luck on our side tonight that gave us this win. But true credit to my team and to McMurray. I was just trying to hold a pretty wheel.
Dwight.
Dwight from RaceTape.com. For Kurt and Steve's perspective also, and you both have a lot of experience here. Did that experience help at all? And also, as far as the practice, could you see any of this coming, or was it strictly learn as you go for everybody?
I think we saw it coming. It was inevitable that this was going to be the way that the racing was going to be, and I think that when NASCAR stepped in this morning and took the oil coolers, a step of the oil cooling and trying to get the temperatures up so guys couldn't do that away from us, they thought that they could break it up with that, but it didn't happen. The guys are still going to do it for whether it's 2 laps or 8 laps. Everybody's going to work towards that direction to be able to do this.
We saw it coming. That's why Brad Keselowski and myself teamed up during January testing, and I have Brad to thank as well for the education, so to speak. We taught each other how to do this 2-car draft, and I felt very comfortable going in tonight knowing that it could be a key factor to win, and it was. One thing I'm thinking of right now just sitting here, though, is it was, 50 degrees out tonight. It's going to be much warmer on Sunday, and that'll shake up how guys are able to push with their temperatures in their radiator and their oil coolers.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions, Mike, and then we got one up here. We'll throw it up to the press box and come back down to the media center.
Kurt, this race presented an interesting dynamic in forming, I guess, unlikely alliances with different guys beyond your own teammates. But, do you spend this next week looking to see if you can add to that group of people that you can ally yourself with because of the fact that, A, the temperatures may change conditions, maybe Jamie might not be able to go as fast as you. All these these variables may come into play, but do you spend the next week trying to forge as many alliances as you can to be mutually beneficial to the both of you?
Yeah, I would say that that's going to be a key player in it. There's going to be so many elements that fall into place that you really can't focus on just one thing. You have to go back and review a lot. And I'm going to review the tape and see who are the pushers, who are the pushees. And it looks like the RCR cars have some good steam under the hood to push really well. And those engines and those ECR engines, EGR, right? ECR. Those guys are great pushers. For us, we need to have as many alliances as we can. We're an only Dodge team out there. I can't wait to get Keselowski out there, see how we team up, whether we're in the same 150 or not together. And then it comes down to these restarts at the end. You can have 450 miles of racing with somebody and then get shuffled around. The thing that's most important in my mind is you can't try to hook up with your buddies too soon, and then guys are trying to check up and stay together, and you're still in a big pack, and then boom, cars are wrecking. So it's almost every restart you're looking around going, who can I team up with?
Germany. You just explained how it works with the air, with the front car, and then how it goes over the second car, but still you figured out somehow to stay as the third car close to the second car. How did you figure this out? How did you find out about that?
A lot of it was learn as you go.
Fourth car was involved in that, the four-car breakaway.
You have to have a guy willing to stick with you and stay behind you. With the way the two cars hook up, it's just the amount of the length from the front bumper to the rear bumper of the two cars. And so you just take an overall measurement, and the air comes off that first car and must land right behind the spoiler of the second car. Because if you sit there and try to draft a foot apart, you can never hook up. You never get that extra speed. So it's just it's a distance thing. I think if we all stood in the wind tunnel and made some measurements, we would see exactly what we're seeing here out on the racetrack. But it's very difficult to simulate wind tunnels versus what happens here on the asphalt track. So a lot of it is just being able to read the car and feel the RPM and know when you're getting bogged down versus when you actually have extra speed with the draft.
Questions from the press box?
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Kurt, Jamie McMurray was saying that one of the reasons he stayed with you at the end of the race and during the race was because you guys are such good friends off the track. What's the genesis of that? Because I think he replaced you at Roush. I don't think you ever were teammates at one point. What's the origins of you guys being so tight?
It's really just the camaraderie and the way that we've shared off-track experiences, whether it's hanging out together, whether it's going to events together. You know, we did flip-flop sponsors or rides in a sense. He took over at Crown Royal on that 97 car, turned into the 26. And, you know, there was a little bit of spite in the beginning with me switching over to Penske, him being part of the deal at Ganassi. But it's just funny how things come together. There's just people that you see in life, and you gravitate towards them, and him and I have done that. And, you know, we live fairly close to each other in the Charlotte area. And there's times when we find each other hanging out and we don't even know.
Kurt, Mark Kotis in Florida Today. When did you guys first discover this phenomenon in January? How did it come about? And do you believe that this is a product of the bumpers or the pavement or whatever? Thank you.
You know, and just to finish up, I consider Jamie McMurray a true friend. And it takes somebody like that to push you to a victory. And you know, it reminded me of the time when I shoved Newman to win the 500. The product of tonight's event and how everything unfolded, it's everything. The way the bumpers line up, the fresh asphalt, the tires, the grip in the tires. We saw a little bit of this at Talladega. And now here at Daytona, with the cars hooked up, there's virtually no tire wear. And you're just worried about staying in that two-car draft because it's 4 seconds faster a lap than it is if you're out there by yourself. And so just the discovery one bit at a time, here, there, and everywhere. And Keselowski and I saw this coming. We teamed up and spent over a great deal of time in January testing and trying to polish up on it. Did I say? Sorry, go ahead.
Mike Hembry, Speed.com. Steve, NASCAR made some changes this morning, apparently designed to prevent drivers from being in these two-car hookups for extended periods. That didn't seem to work tonight. Is there anything that they can do to break up the two cars from the long runs, and should they?
I don't want to see it happen. I think it's cool that we're running over 200 miles an hour. Kurt might not like that, but I think he likes
it's fun as hell.
So it's fun. I don't know. I think that I don't want to give my opinion and give them any ideas. So you know, I just think that they tried to do it with a little bit of it this morning with the oil coolers, but we went back to the package that we tested with Kurt and Brad down here in January and felt pretty confident in it and just played it safe with opening up tape. I don't know what they're planning on doing if anything, but I don't think that I mean, if we go to a smaller plate, it's just going to be a slower two-car deal. It's not going to separate the guys doing what they're doing, and they may shorten that length of time, but I don't think they'll end it.
Okay, we have no more questions in the press box. We'll take Al down here in the media center.
Kurt, Al Pearson, Auto Week. Did you know you had won at first? The scoring monitors all had him winning by .003. Who told you you'd won? Were you worried about the yellow line deal, or just what?
I've been in one of these .002, .003 things before, and I looked down. I was just full throttle, and I let go of the wheel to try to free up the car. And I'm looking down at the 11. I'm like, I got him beat, no problem. You know, we're the winner. And Addington said that timing and scoring has the 11 car, and I'm like, no, I'm the winner. I won. I can't take this away. I already been through one of these 002s, 003s, and came out the loser. When I got on the back straightaway, Steve had said that they have the 11 scored as the leader by 0.003 of a second, and he also said that he went below the double yellow. And I said, well, of course he did. Of course he did. You know, so he advanced his position below the double yellow, which is a rule which we didn't think would come into play tonight, but it did. And it didn't look like Newman forced him down there. It looked like the 11 took that option. It obviously was the shortest distance around, but my game plan was to stay hooked up with McMurray the whole way through, and I have him to thank. And for us to come out on top with the way that the ruling went, it's a correct ruling, and I think that we can take this win on home for Dodge and for Shell Pennzoil.
Hawkers.
Bob Hawker, Scene Daily for Steve. I mean, if they make a change, if they tell you Wednesday morning, is that okay, or would you like to know something by Monday or Tuesday?
You think they're going to come ask me, Bob? No. If they make a change, we just got to deal with it. I was wanting to get out to talk to Scott Courier, the engine builder over at Penske Racing Engines, just to see what he thinks on RPM, where we're at, where we're running, and I'll be on the phone with him and gathering all the information I can from him, and we'll just wait and see what the decision is on what they do. I can't say one way or the other what they're going to do, but if they were going to do something, I'd like for them to let us know before Wednesday morning to start practice, but so we could be prepared for it. So they may let us know tomorrow. We've got all day tomorrow. We'll be hanging around.
Stan.
This is Kurt, Stan Creekmore, South Boston News and Record. All of the drivers throughout this, after the race, have said they liked it. They liked it. They liked it. Do you think the fans are going to like it? Because this is like 270 degrees out from what Daytona has been for all of these years. So do you think the fans are going to like this for 500 miles?
See, I'm glad I waited for your question, because after Bob's question, I'm sitting here going, well, what is the perspective from the outside? What did the fans view tonight? How exciting was it? NASCAR is going to evaluate that, ask the fans. I mean, from what I was told with some of the interviews that I did previously, is that the fans were on their feet. They were jumping up and down. They just saw this whole new style of draft. We all knew this coming in on the fresh repave. What is it going to bring? This is 30 years in the making because of the way the cars are set up, the way the restrictor plates work, the way that the bumpers align themselves. This is fresh asphalt. It's just a whole new look. And so I don't want this win not to feel like it's a win, because we're all writing that this is too many unknowns tonight. We do need to get the fans' opinion to find out. And if the fans agree and there's a general consensus that this was positive, then I hope that our win is glorified even more. Right now I'm getting the feeling like this didn't count, you know, because there's too many unknowns going in, and who knew that this was going to be a two-car draft. But to pull into victory lane with new sponsors and a car number that nobody knew nothing about, I was just hoping to fly under the radar tonight. Everybody think that we were Ward Burton or Bobby Allison or Fireball Roberts running the 22 car, and we'll sneak up on them and win. And we sure as heck did.
Any other questions from the media center? Bob?
For Kurt, I mean, I think the talk about the changes is because we saw a lap at 2:06 and several laps at 2:02, 2:03. I mean, did you feel like it was too fast? Then any changes would need to be made just for the safety reason, not necessarily for racing reasons?
Oh, okay, I'm with you. I was beginning to get these shots up here. I was like, man, what's going on? I feel like with the way the cars would wreck back in the day and why the reason for restrictor plates came out was because the cars didn't have enough downforce on them to keep them planted to the track when they would spin out sideways or get backwards and have the air lift those cars up. We saw that happen with the Truck Series the first time here with Jeffrey Bodine's horrific accident, and I think it's because the tracks lacked downforce the first time, which was back in 2000. I think these cars have enough downforce. They've got the roof flaps and the safety equipment to protect the drivers. But obviously, once we start getting over 200, we have to make sure that we keep these cars in the ballpark, and that's the main concern. And so if I had to throw something out there, I would throw on bigger spoilers and a bigger plate, but that we can't go any faster if we're getting 206. So it's an unbelievable experience to race out there in this two-car tandem and to be able to feel the air around you and to have that guy behind you pushing. It is so much fun inside the car when you have things going your way. I bet the guys that lost the draft are out there just sitting there filing their nails going down the back straightaway because they got nothing else to do.
Any more questions from the press box? Okay. Okay, gentlemen. Steve, Kurt, congratulations. Good luck next week.
Thank you.